Yes, we grow jellyfish from tiny little polyp to full-grown medusa. That means that we keep a colony of polyps and we get them to release little baby jellies, which are called ephyra, and then we'll feed them the right food and give them the right conditions so that they can grow into the free-swimming medusa, which is what you see behind me. It can be very difficult. It requires very precise environmental conditions and lots of care. It requires lots of attention. If you let something go, if you don't take care of it right away, it's very easy for all the jellyfish to get damaged beyond repair. They're very delicate, so if something gets in the tank that can scrape against them, it can cause them all to have deformities and become damaged, so you can't put them on display. And they're pretty messy animals to keep too. So if you don't keep on top of scrubbing the tank and getting rid of the extra food, you can end up with clogged screens and fouling organisms and other problems. I've been doing this for about 7 years now, and it's not surprising necessarily to me that they're messy. I mean, jellies eat plankton, and there's a lot of other animals that eat plankton too. So when you're dumping a lot of plankton into the water, sometimes these other animals will also eat a lot of that food and grow, and these animals like barnacles or hydrozoans, which are kind of like hairy, stinging animals, don't get along with the jellies very well. So you have to make sure that you get rid of all the extra animals so you only have jellies growing in your tanks. Well, jellies don't have really a brain, so they aren't very capable of higher thinking. Whereas the seals are pretty intelligent animals, as are our otters and our sea turtles and our meerkats. Those animals need to have things like enrichment to make their environments new and exciting for them, whereas the jellies, all you really have to do is feed them and keep their exhibit clean. I get stung a fair amount. I've learned over the years that the skin on your fingers is very thick, so if I touch a stinging animal like a nettle with my fingertips, I don't really feel anything. But if I stick my arm in the tank and the nettle washes over my arm, then it stings quite a bit. So I usually just try and work with the animals with just the tips of my fingers or with a cleaning tool. We do grow a variety of animals here. The ones behind me, these are moon jellies. They're a very common animal in Long Island Sound. We also grow upside down jellies and Atlantic sea nettles and lion's mane jellies and a Japanese species called Sandaria malayensis. Yeah, a lot of other aquariums aren't able to grow their own jellies for whatever reason. So if we're very successful and end up with more medusas than we can house in our tanks, then we'll ask if other aquariums need them and send them out to them. It is very cool. I mean, I think this is a really new and interesting animal for people to touch. They might not have ever felt anything like this, and it's a new way to appreciate how cool jellyfish are. I would say that moon jellies have a very, very mild sting. Even if you did get stung by it, even somewhere pretty sensitive like your underarm, you probably wouldn't feel a thing. But on top of that, when you touch the jellies in this tank, you're only going to touch them with the tips of your fingers, which have very thick skin, and only on top of the bell where there aren't any stinging cells. So it's extremely unlikely that you would even feel any kind of a sting from them. They're very simple. They've obviously found a body plan that works very well for them. They don't really need lungs because they're very thin and they can just absorb nutrients directly out of the water. They don't really need true eyes because all they do is swim through the water and eat whatever food they happen to come in contact with. And they don't need a heart for the same reason that they don't need the lungs. They just absorb the nutrients and oxygen straight out of the water. We like to call them jellies and not jellyfish because they aren't an actual fish. They don't belong to the same group of animals as fish do. I'm Rachel Stein, and I'm an aquarist here at the Maritime Aquarium. Come down to the Maritime Aquarium where you can jiggle a jelly yourself firsthand.